down, lose, win, enemy, friend. Then it happens all over again. So move with self-control and discipline, because life is a roller coaster. Be ready for the game. Yeah. Caesar shapes but something the same. Still rooted like a tree. Fake friends fall like leaves. Mama coming through with a machete for the weeds. Getting the ground ready cause you know we planting seeds. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees. This that love story, that struggle story. Our ancestors been getting work. For the metaphors and allegories, pray for everything that's come before me. Some of us keep leaving. They over here beefing. They over here cheating. Then they over here thieving. So these children keep eating. Poor people still grieving. Raw diet, no season. Still passing, no weaving. But they say I'm weak cause I don't even really like to play. They to live is evil, still backwards, another killer named Fame. We sinned and missed our aim, got so high I was low. Liquor had me moving slow, hollow like a chocolate Easter bunny with no soul. Tasty crash dummy, getting money. Reaching through a hole in the wall to snatch dreams. Put you on the team, now use a cog in the machine. Black lightning keeps the whiteness supreme. Cause once the black is light and then they both the same thing. I ride the bench for the new tribe. The whole world they got nothing to hide. We dark as the bottom of the sea. Still connected to that water I just poured in my tea. They gon' show us how to thrive. Problem solve and evolve. Not slaves to the matrix. Playing catfish with fake pigs. Running shit like a dirty stick. Abusing time playing cheap tricks. I'ma look behind this curtain and see life path numbers 4 and 3. 7 going on 8 shaped like a fin. And spiritually, nothing can hinder this. I in the list, offspring of it all. Remove us and the whole thing falls and starts again. That's gravity, my friend. Thought we wasn't there, but we was there too. See you in a minute, cause we about to come through. Smoke the night, there's nothing and everything. The scene and the hitting. Clock and secret ties don't fall for the division. Cosmic balance be the intention. About to cut in and make this decision. We ain't afraid of surf fiction. Opening portals to new dimensions. Critical thinking. We use it when we making these decisions. Be ready for the game. Yeah, be ready for the game. Life is a roller coaster. Be ready for the game. Life is a roller coaster. Be ready for the, be ready for the call it discipline because life is a roller coaster. Be ready for the game. Be ready for the game. Up, down, lose, win, stop, begin. Stop, begin, up, down, lose, win, enemy, friend. Then it happens all over again. Then it happens all over again. Stop, begin, lose, win, enemy, friend. Stop, begin, lose, win, enemy, friend. Then it happens all over again. Hey, just keep happening. Just keep happening over and over again. It's just an endless cycle. It's a loop. Now, I was watching this movie before I get into the topic. The name of the movie that I was just watching, I got to go to where I was. Oh, coming soon. I can't wait for that Masters of the Universe. I'm gonna have to take a break from Netflix after that. But I just finished watching this, Not Happily Ever. I think that's what the name of it was. Wait, hold on. I just finished watching it. Like literally, it just went off. Trending now. It's one of them African movies. It's called Happiness Ever After. So I just finished watching that, and I watched the part one. I watched the part one, but this was the part two. And it was a really good storyline. I liked um I felt like it was a lot of drag involved. I feel like Africans, they don't mind doing performance, but the performance is so um culturally, I guess you could say culturally appropriate. Africans will give you something grand, honey, but they really, really honestly be dealing with some mediocre concepts. Not as much mediocre as it is mundane. Just dealing with the basic needs, like, and they, use, this English that make it sound like it's so grand and it's so a matter of fact, but really they be dealing with some mediocre, like some mundane stuff. They just make it look beat like, that's, but what I like about them is that they do challenge patriarchal narratives, but I feel like in the sense that the woman is, her look is always very binary. I think that male roles, if any, are going to be the most flexible. The woman may push the limits by being a little bit more revealing in her dress, but she's going to fit into a binary role. Like, although she's not going to want to be controlled by the man, she still is going to live up to, the aesthetic of that which we say, cis, heterosexual, all of these labels that we put on um, Black, Afro, Indigenous, deeply melanated beings who work within the constructs of the binary. So, yeah, but you definitely see them challenging, being subservient, being passive, and being just docile and compliant and complicit, with how patriarchy typically operates, as head of the house, and telling you what to do, telling you how to dress. Like 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 these films challenge that, and I enjoy, that. I enjoy being able to see a whole bunch of beings who I could say, just mirror me closely. Like, it's not a reach, because I'm not gonna that I can't see myself in some Caucasian cinema or some Caucasian film, or just beings of other nationalities or other direct ancestry. I'm not gonna say that I can't relate to some of their um I can't relate to that. Like, I really, really love Always Be My Maybe. Um and that movie is about two Asiatic people, and I love that movie. Like, I just get life from it. So it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be my direct ancestry to look at, them and make the connection. Although it's easier when I'm looking at films like the one that I just showed you. But anyway, they challenge the patriarchy as it is, like, it's just a lot of challenging of that. But I noticed that there's a lot of, just cisgender, extremely binary drag. Like, like the women are, high heels and dresses and makeup. I mean, it's like it's drag. It's culturally appropriate drag, but it's still drag. It's still extra. Like right now, this is a little drag. It's light drag and it's culturally appropriate drag, but it's still some drag. It's just a drag that I feel more comfortable in. But anyway, there is so tonight what I wanted to talk about in this video was the sex change. So I'm gonna do like a backstory, because I want to go back down memory lane, because I was thinking about this the other day and I got triggered, right? So yeah, everything is right. So I was thinking about this and I got triggered, right? And so when I got ready to have my orchiectomy, I was in Atlanta. And this is why I say certain things like that I say about Atlanta. Like when I said Atlanta gave me Candyland, not Wakanda. Like when I said that in the other video, that she gave me Candyland. She didn't give me she didn't give me Wakanda like they try to make it out to be. It's really Candyland from Django. So so when I went to Atlanta to have my orchiectomy, right? And so the first doctor that they gave me was a black man. And so here I am, someone who was born with, testicles and a penis or phallus or whatever you want to call it. And I'm in here getting ready to get my testicles removed. And you know how we worship in this reality. Dick and balls is important, honey. Dick and balls is a commodity, honey. Dick and balls is gold. They call it your treasure, baby. So I was in Atlanta, and I call Atlanta Candyland. So I'm in Atlanta getting ready to get my testicles removed. And the doctor, who was a black man, he came into the office and he looked at me and he was like, if you get this done, you will never be able to perform as a man again. Now, then I wasn't at this place where I am now in consciousness. I was just recovering from crack because I had a stint. I had found out my status right around this time. So I found out I was living with the nothingness. Now, mind you, I'm not no bad person. I ain't never killed nobody. I ain't never molested nobody. I ain't never, I can't say I ain't never robbed nobody because I done robbed a couple of tricks from playing with me, but they started it. They wasn't just minding their business and all of a sudden I said, let me just go pick his pockets. I wasn't that type of girl. I'm not going to say that I never robbed a trick in my day. Not going to say that I never took some coins from somebody, but it was always somebody who was playing on me. And when I say playing on me, I'm like, you filling me up, you treating me like a piece of meat, you objectifying me, and I'm asking you to give me a donation and you don't have no donation for me. Like you using me, you using my flesh, you playing with me, you disrespecting me, you touching all on me. I'm asking you to give me a little something, and you don't want to give it to me. So you know what? I'm going to take it. I've been in those situations before, and that was still a low level for me. That was still when I was getting full, because not being full, I'm not even much going to entertain that. So I was doing heavy drugs to give that, to allow a man that I wasn't attracted to or a man who I could not have seen myself being with on a deeper level, to allow this man to degrade my body and to touch all over my body for the hopes of $40 or $50 or $60 from him touching on me. That was a low place in life. That was a low place because I would rather be broke than be doing all of that just for, because that money goes so fast and you always have that energy on you. You have that vibration on you. You have that frequency on you. And so a lot of times we exist in that frequency because that's what we keep surrounding ourselves with, that type of energy. So it was a low level. It was a low level. But I knew that I was not going to survive. I knew that I was going to die if I would not have had bottom surgery for me. I can't speak for every girl. Some girls, like when we see young girls, and they getting killed young and they be those young, fully functional girls. I'm not saying every girl needs to be castrated and castration or orchiectomy will save your life. I'm just saying that it saved this life because I'm eternal and I've been here a bunch of times. But the way my mouth was set up and the type of energy that I had, oh girl, I would have died with them nuts. Them nuts would have been the death of me. Because as fishy as I was, as cunty as I was, I had heart. And no, I could not whoop everybody ass, but I did not back down. I talked shit to everybody from the girl who was the scariest that was known for beating asses to the police. I cussed the police out when I was mad. I did not care. When you cross me, you might be able to stomp me in the mud, but if it's the truth and it's set up on my spirit, I'm going to say it. I was like that, honey. And them the type of people that society kills. So, me getting the orchiectomy was life-saving because I was going to call a lot of people out. I didn't know how to put my head down and be quiet while somebody else was getting fucked over. And now I still do it, but because I'm more feminine and because I'm perceived in a certain way, I think people can digest it better. But back then, it was a lot of, it was just like I used to be ready to scrap with, I put myself in I can remember females. I remember I was out with this one girl and it was a biological female. And we was trying to turn a date together. We was full, we was getting high. And we was working together, we was hustling together. And a white man, Caucasian man, came up, because, we used to go with the white men more because the white men used to have the coins. We was the bed wench. I ain't even much finna try to dress it up and make it look like it was something when it wasn't. We was bed wenches. So we sitting out in the bar. I think she was really known for picking pockets, but I was a bed wench. I was a damn bed witch. So we sitting in the bar, right? Ooh, wait a minute, my earring fell up. So we sitting in a bar, right? And this Caucasian man, he like her, so he grabbing on her, he touching on her. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my testosterone levels. I don't know what it was. But when I used to see females getting disrespected, I used to get in I didn't like to see females get disrespected. Like, I didn't like to see my sisters get disrespected. I didn't like to see trans women get disrespected. I didn't like to see people get disrespected in general. But, it was just the way that I was raised. I did not like to see females get disrespected. So, and he just knew not to play with me like that. Like, he wasn't playing with me like that. He was playing with her like that. I guess because she looked at more vulnerable and like she could be played with like that. So, he grabbing all on her, touching on her, handling her roughly, and I'm getting mad. So we get out in the streets and he grabbing on her and handling on her. And I picked up one of these orange cones in the street and I started beating this man ass with one of them orange cones in the street. Hazelnight, I picked up the cone and I'm just beating him with the cone and beating him with the orange, them cones, them traffic cones. I'm beating him with the traffic cone because he disrespected her. Now, this shit happened the second time. I was with this dude and he didn't know that I was he didn't know that I was trans, but when we to the room, he found out. He still had sex with me, but he wanted to be with a biological female. So I went to go and look for him a biological female, and it was this one that I had liked it, she looked at like Eve from Eve who was with Rough Riders, Eve who married to the billionaire now. So I went and got her and I brought her back to the hotel. So we in the room and he he's saying crazy shit to her. He's saying, yeah, my black nigger bitch, and like, come here, black nigger bitch, and he grabbing in all this type of stuff. We doing bumps together. We doing, we sniffing a little cash together. So I'm sitting here looking at him, grabbing on her like this and playing with her like that, and I'm getting mad. Like, I won't fight him. So like, he grabbing her and disrespecting her, and I'm grabbing him and disrespecting him. And I'm getting mad. Like, I'm getting mad at this man. So he told her to tell me it was okay. So she came over there and she was like, calm down. She's like, I'm okay. She was like, I'm okay. Everything okay, And he asked her to tell me to leave. And because if I'd have stayed there, every time he would have disrespected her, I was gonna disrespect him. But she told me to leave, so I felt like she got it, so I left. But we ended up hooking up that night. We was with another Caucasian man. We was bed wenches. We was on some bed witch shit. We was on some bed witch shit. We was on some bed witch. We was getting our coins, but we was on some bed with shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it real. Ain't nobody finna sit here trying to act grand. Trying to put no sugar on that shit. We was on some bed with shit. So we all three in the room. He was fine though. He was very attractive. He was cute. He was handsome. So we was giving him pleasure. We started ignoring him. We pushed his ass out the way, and me and her were going for it. I was eating her pussy. She was sucking me. I still had my piece at the time. I think I might have had my orchiectomy. I think I probably had my orchiectomy by then. But baby, she was sucking my piece, and I was eating her pussy. And this was like the first like cis, because I had been with like a trans masculine, person, somebody who could identify with trans man today. But I had never been with like no cisgender, what I'm saying, black female. Like, I had never had that experience. So this is my first time eating like black female, like I'm a woman pussy. Like, this is my first time doing that. So child, me and her ended up going for what we was knowing. We started ignoring him. So he got mad. He felt some type of way because we pushed his ass out the way, and we started going for, and he was fine too, don't get me wrong. He was giving you like Caucasian football player tease, like he was fine. But baby, we hadn't already got our coins, honey. We pushed him out the way, honey, and started serving him nooch, honey. And we was going for what we knew with each other, baby. Oh yes! We was going for what we knew. So he was evil, honey. So he brought us back to the location. So we met up with each other later on that night, and we had a room. It was like a little trailer park or something. I don't know how we ended up there, but we was rolling off of ecstasy. We had been snorting. We had been smoking weed. We had been drinking. We was high boots, baby. We met up in that room, honey, and we fucked like cats and dogs, baby. If I wouldn't have been castrated, honey, I could have made me a baby that day. I could have brought some cheering here. Honey. Probably did bring something here through a portal, honey. It just wasn't on the physical plane. But baby, we was fucking up a storm. I was crazy about her ass. I haven't seen her again since. Like I haven't seen her again since that day. But I always thought about her. Even though I was high as Cooter Brown, like even though I was full silly, full booze, like people be thinking when you be high, you don't be knowing what you be doing, child. You be knowing what you doing even more so. People be trying to blame it on the drugs and say, oh, I did it while I was high. See, I'm totally, if I feel comfortable getting fucked up around you, That means I trust you in my soul, because I don't just haul off and get boots around people that I don't trust at all. Like, we got to have some type of spiritual connection and be on some type of level for me to be boots around you, for me to just be boots, boots, boots. Because I'm not gonna get boots, boots, boots around. See, you gotta be somebody who get high and do strong drugs to understand what I'm talking about. If you ever done strong drugs in your life, you know how they make you feel. And a lot of people, like, they could get boots anywhere, they could get boots out in the street like that. But me, I don't get boots. I mean, I'm talking about like incapacitated to the point to where I'm vulnerable and somebody could fuck over me. Like, I don't get high like that around people that I don't trust. I'm not fixing to be like this. So I instinctively had a high level of trust for her when we first met, because me and her were boots. So, with all that back in mind, getting back to the story of the whole sex change story. So I was a girl who had explored, I knew that I didn't want, like 10 years ago, I knew that I didn't want to bring a child here biologically, because I didn't want to take a chance on a child being treated the way that I was treated. And now, 10 years later, even though the world is a much safer place, and it seems like a beautiful, seems like a place where you could actually see yourself raising a child that could be, that wouldn't be harmed and mistreated by the system. Still, for me, I'm glad I didn't bring any children here, because, I think it's a lot of, like, even for those of us, who are doing the work to make this a safe space for queer children, I still like it's a lot of colonizing. And I think that my children would have already been messed up. I think that, I would have had my children probably younger. I probably would have had my children, if I would have been born female, because that's how I would have done it. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to create a baby with, someone and somebody else had to carry. I would have wanted to have the carrying experience. I would have wanted to have that initial, raising a child inside of me and experiencing that. I don't know if I want to experience it through modern day science. I'm gonna leave that to the young girls. My research this rip was the sex change. My research does not entail carrying a baby. And at one time, I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to carry a baby. Um, I wanted to carry a baby for so long. Like those were my thoughts, like carrying a child inside of me. And even now, when I hear the stories, when I hear cis females or biological, females tell these stories about childbirth and pregnancy, there's a little moment where I'm like, damn, like I have that moment, but just at the age where I am now, I wouldn't want to go through that. I wouldn't want to go through carrying life inside of me. And I'm damn near, pretty soon I'll be 50. And all the things that I've done to my body, like getting high and doing, like if I was a young girl and I had never smoked or drank or something like that, I might think about playing with y'all like that. But there's so many variables that go into that in order for, me to want to trust that, like, going to the doctor and just trusting them to give you somebody's sperm. Like, I was looking at this video about this couple. She's 50 years old and she's already had her children. So she want to take a break so that she could allow her husband to go and find somebody that he could impregnate. And they want to bring the woman into the home, and she wants to be a part of the child's life. So she want him to make a baby with someone, have the baby with them, and she's going to be a part of it, and it's going to be kind of like a polyamorous thing, you may as well say. And a lot of people were saying that's stupid. Like, why don't you do a surrogate mother? Why don't you adopt? Personally, I think adopting is amazing. I would love to adopt someday. I would love to be able to adopt a child. But I also understand surrogacy, but if you have the confidence and the confidence in yourself and the confidence in your relationship to be mama number two, I don't see and most importantly, all of you have the confidence to be able to be in this relationship and have that understanding. I wouldn't mind being in a relationship where I was mama number two, because let me be clear, I don't always be feeling like having sex. I don't always feel like getting penetrated. I don't always feel like getting jumped up and down in. So if I'm with a man with a high sex drive and he being good to me and he handling his business, but he has some urges that I can't meet, honey. If we have a child, honey, I will focus my love and attention on that child. And as long as when I need my fix, he gonna come through and give me what I need. Come through and rap on this door and tap on this window pane, baby. And if you got some other needs you need met, honey, and you just want to be banging and bapping and yapping and going on and cutting up and stuff, then go ahead and do it with wife number one, the one who done brought you the baby. Go ahead, y'all tear it down. Long as she ain't got no problem when I'm ready to get my piece. When I'm ready to slide on through and get me. Long as she ain't got no problem, I ain't gonna have no problem with her. And hey, if she attractive, me and her might could do a little something too. So, I ain't got to be the one doing the work all the time. Cause I be having other stuff I be wanting to do in my life. I be busy sometimes. I don't be having time. Like I don't every time you need it sucked and every time you need to penetrate something, I got to be the one. I'm busy right now. But I love you though. I love you though. You mean everything to me, just not right now. Go ahead in the room and do it with her. I'm okay. Long as you and her don't get so caught up that when it come time for me to get my little taste, my little look and see, my little ringo go around the mirror bush. Long as when it's my turn to ride that baloney pony, hey, you got something left for me. Make sure you got something good for me. Make sure you throw me something, mister. See, I'm not petty like that anymore. Like I'm not jealous hearted and insecure. If I've been in that place before, but a lot of times it'd be people who be threatened by me. So I don't mind being in, because I believe and I feel in my heart that's how our ancestors were. I could imagine in the village before we had all of these jobs and all of these other things we could do with ourselves when we was trying to impress massa and show off for massa, and everything was just centered around raising children and bringing up family and creating community. Like there was no distractions. Like we worked together for our food, we worked together for our clothing, we worked together for all of our basic necessities and community. I could imagine how close we all might have been. And one sister may not be able to give birth. The other sister may be able to give birth. So the one that could give birth, get pregnant with a whole bunch of children, and they just raise them together. The children, the one that could give birth, child, she might be hot in the coop. She might like to rip and run the streets. Well, guess what? The one that ain't gave birth to no children got all this extra time on her hand, so she be watching the children. She ain't got to deal with, with the 9 months of pregnancy and going through and all that type of stuff. She don't have to deal with all those changes in her body. So, she's in a different place mentally. So she have plenty of time to be of support. So, like, I just think it's a balance. I think, we used to have better balance, as tribes. Like we just supported each other. We just, chipped in. What I bring to the table is what I bring to the table. What you bring to the table is what you bring to the table. But we all come to this table and we got a buffet style meal. We got all these type of different unique dishes that come together and to create something that can feed all of us. Amen. Amen. So, I'm definitely into nation building. And I don't think that you can build a nation with two people. And so this idea of monogamy is not nation building. It creates relationships that keep us subservient to this system, that keeps us
bow into the system. When you really want to thrive, and when you really want to build community, you have to have the capacity. You look at in the Bible, with these men and polygamy, and I'm not talking about polygamy, I'm talking about polyamory. Like, I can't do polygamy. I'm gonna be honest, I can't do polygamy. I can't be. If I met a man that was just that amazing, it would have to be a manifestation. Like, you couldn't even be a man to woo me like that. Like, I can't see someone being in the man form and he just so amazing and he just so wonderful that he can maintain all of these wives. I think that a being that's that dynamic would have an attraction to all types of things. So, and seeing a man who, like, say for example, this is a man who likes to have sex with men. So he's having sex with men, he's having sex with trans women, he's having sex with biological females, he's having sex with trans men, he's having sex with all of these different kinds of beings, and he's still presenting in the masculine form all the time. Like, he's consistently being masculine and he's consistently moving. I've never met that type of being, like that type of being who would be honest about who they were and communicate from that space, and it wouldn't sound toxic. Like, I've never experienced a being who was having interactions with biological identified cis women, trans women, pre-op, post-op, trans masculine men, gay men, having sex with all of these, and still manages to identify as just a regular man. Like, I've never had that experience. So, like, if I had experienced someone who was like that, I could consider polygamy. I could consider being in a polygamous relationship with a being like that, because it takes a lot of work for you to get there mentally, and for you not to be someone who is misogynistic and toxic and manipulative. Like, to be able to be honest and be open and say, I'm attracted to feminine gay men, I'm attracted to trans men, I'm attracted to pre-op trans women, I'm attracted to post-op trans women, I'm attracted to cisgender females, I'm attracted to gender nonconforming people, but I'm still most confident and comfortable presenting as a man and identifying with the construct of manhood. Like, I've never met a being that was like that. And so maybe if I had, I could see, if I would have to hear the dialogue, I would have to see where their mind was at, I would have to hear them communicate, I would have to hear them speak, I would have to know their religious views, their spiritual views. Like, I would have to hear all of these things in order for me to entertain being in a polygamous setup with someone like that. You really got to sell me. Like, you got to sell me on that. You know what I'm saying? For me to be about tribe building with you. And so far, I've never heard someone that, sold me on it, because they're not willing to do the work, because they're so busy trying to pretend like, they're going to be monogamist, or, men going to be men, and they don't really have to explain and give you a full breakdown, but they want you to be accountable about everything and everybody that you're talking to and everything that you're doing. So, like, if I seen an example of that, I could consider, I could consider polygamy. But if they're not giving me that, then it would definitely have to be. And if it was polygamy, you couldn't have like 5 and 6 wives. Like, I probably, like, at max, I could share you. Like, it would have to be different examples. Like, it wouldn't be able to be, me and 4 other cis women, or me and 4 trans women. No, boo. We not me and 4 pre-op. No, we're not doing all that. Like, you're gonna have to have, a cis woman around. You're gonna have to have another cis man around, because I'm gonna have to see you getting topped by an old masculine man, or giving a little face to old masculine man, or something. You know what I'm saying? For me to just feel like you really as versatile as you say you are. Like, like that you really, really as flexible as you say you are. So I want to see a little bit, be able to get me a little bit on the side. It's got to be a mix and match and molding of. So for me, it's more, just to be clear, I'm more like I would be more um likely to participate in a polyamorous relationship because I want to have some form of control. I want to have some form of say so. You know what I'm saying? But I don't mind, sharing my partner because this is the thing. Girls will tell you, oh, you got rid of your dick and don't no man want you. Like I had one girl say, you think men gonna be standing in line for their pussy. Child, these men are cheating on biological females for dick, and they cheating on the girls with dicks for pussy. They cheating on both of y'all. The girls who keep their dicks, they cheat on y'all for pussy. And the girls who keep their pussy, they cheat on y'all for dick. Girl, Miss Thing. So you may as well be happy for yourself and have what you want to have, girl. Because everybody getting cheated on, girl. Everybody coming up short, girl. Girl, ain't no girl over here. Ain't no girl. It ain't every girl who got a vagina. She ain't never getting cheated on. And every girl who got dick and balls, she ain't never getting cheated on. Girl, everybody getting cheated on. So, girl, you may as well have what you want to have in between your legs for you. You may as well be comfortable with what you got between your legs for you. Keeping your dick for him. And if he have the desire for some cat, he's still going to go and get it. If he has the desire for some penis, he's still going to go and get it. So why you keeping something to keep him happy? You get what make you happy between your legs. Because at the end of the day, can't nobody make you come and can't nobody make love to you better than you. Believe me. Child, I get myself off good. All by myself, honey. I had to tell a man that today. Child, men be thinking they can promise you this and tell you I'm going to give you this and I'm going to give you that. I said, baby, never disappoint me. Never disappoint me. I ain't got to argue with you. I ain't got to fuss with you. I ain't got to go backwards and forwards. I ain't got to have my pressure up and all that. Never disappoints me. Gets me right every time. And a trans man gave me this. A trans man gave me my best piece of dick, my favorite piece of dick, baby. Serious, baby. And I can't get all of it in there, but baby, what I can get in there, girl, I have the vibrator in the front and have both of them going at the same time, girl. They be up here talking about, sure do, honey. Oh, I guess me. Period. On period, boo. I got me before this live. Earlier today, honey, I made sure I checked up under the hood and rotated the tires. Period. Okay? That's why I had to do this, girl. These earrings is saying, girl. These earrings is heavy. That's why they keep sliding out my ear. And I got this motherfucking low-key cheap ass plastic back on here. But girl, she swing out again, girl. She gonna stay out of here, girl. Because baby, I think this Benadryl is starting to kick in. But yeah, girl, so yeah, girl, but this has, like, I just think about what that black man told me while I was in Atlanta, is you concerned about, producing as, you'll never be able to perform as a man again. And when he told me that, I literally, when he walked out of the office, I never forget, I stood up and I walked to the door and I told them to get me a black female doctor. I said, baby, don't bring him back in my room. Get somebody else to give me a black female to come up here. I need a woman. I need somebody who understands what I'm going through. And looking back, I don't really feel like she understood what I was going through. I felt like, she kind of told me what I wanted to hear low key too. because she wasn't in the surgery room the day I had my surgery. She let some people under her perform my procedure, and there was some scarring moments in that particular procedure. There was some scarring moments, honey. There was a moment, but I'm past that now. I'm not gonna elaborate on the details of that situation, but yeah, it was some traumatizing moments that happened there, and she was not in the surgery room, so she might have just been more focused on, child, I'm about to get this bag. I'm not going to be like him because, his pride was hurt and he felt like he had to say something to me. Oh, you're not going to be able to perform as a man no more. You giving up your manhood. Like I'm giving up the thing that makes me important. My balls. My dick and balls. We live in a reality that's just so focused on our genitalia. That's just so hung up on our genitalia. Now, I'm not saying everybody need to have the sex change, but everybody don't need to be walking around here fully functional and packing. Because like I said, for me, if I wouldn't have made the choice, girl, I wouldn't be here. So for some of us, it's a matter of life and death. It's literally a matter of life and death. And the reason why a lot of these post-ops and these castrated girls be out here killing themselves and going crazy is because girls like me won't step forward and have a conversation. And in those girls' defense, because I understand stealth too. I understand being a stealth girl and not wanting to be at the forefront and not wanting to step up and speak all the time, because people will take your information and they will twist it to meet their purpose. They will twist it to benefit them. They'll take my words and twist them around to justify some shit they want to do. And a lot of sex changers are smart enough to know that that's how people are. So they be in that phase of, I'm not fixing to even, I'm over here happy, I'm prospering, it's working out well for me. I'm not fixing to wish this on another girl or encourage another girl. But the thing that I realized living in New York is so many girls having it. And, the depression is happening and people not talking, and these girls are getting this surgery and they don't have a conversation that they can relate to. They don't have dialogue and information that they can relate to. So at the end of the day, all of the work that I do is because I didn't see it there. I didn't see it for me. I wish that there was a girl that was there that could have spoke to where I was and gave me what I needed. And that's why I supported the trans community for so long, because it gave me what I needed until a certain time. And it's so funny because my mentor told me, one of my mentors, he's in one of my original videos. When we stopped talking, one of the last things he said to me, and this was before I even started saying lay lim lay lur. Like at the time, I was actually praying, to a goddess, and I wasn't, preaching about wholeness. Like I hadn't gotten to that place in my spirituality. I was in my trauma, and I was like, F the patriarchy, F men. I wouldn't use the masculine term to identify the divine. I would always say goddess. I would always say mother. So in my anger, I became one-sided. Like I think I came the polarity of what patriarchy is. So like for like the first 2 years or maybe the first 3 years after my surgery, like the first year after my surgery, I was still going to the church. I was still identifying as Christian. And it's crazy because when I was prayed over, when I got ready to have my sex change, I was prayed over by the church, and I was prayed over by someone who was a part of the Yoruba culture. She was a priestess. So I had a Caucasian woman and an African woman to pray over me at a Universalist church. And then I had a Caucasian woman and a Black woman who were a married lesbian couple to pray over me at this African church. So I had 4 women to pray over me prior to my sex change. And one of them was pleading the blood of Jesus over me. And the other one was pleading, was doing African religion over me, doing African They were praying African stuff for me, gave me a ritual to do with like this jar of honey after I had my surgery. So I was getting two different cultures, impacting me in the process of having my sex change. And it was all women, that were all biological females that were praying over me when I got ready to have my surgery. So for like maybe like a year and a half after I had my sex change, Christianity, it was Christianity. Then, when I had my last prostitution experience, and I'm going to delve into that more because I still have the dress that I bought immediately after. But when I had my last like street walking prostitution experience, I experienced it on a female host role. And then that's when my mind started to expand about the violence, and I stopped seeing the violence as just something that was happening to Black trans women. I really started paying attention to female violence, to domestic violence, to violence that had already been happening to females, because I wasn't just now looking at it as a trans woman anymore, because I couldn't go on a block with the trans girls. I was on a block with the females holding. So when I saw females was getting fucked over just like trans women be getting fucked over, I was like, damn, this shit been going on. And I'm thinking it's about trans women. No, this is happening to females, period. This is happening to Black females, period. So, when I realized that I couldn't, then my praying to Father God, King Jesus, and I couldn't do that with good conscience anymore. I couldn't do that with good conscience anymore. But what happened was I became angry at the patriarchy, and I didn't even want to acknowledge them. It was goddess, it was mother, it was my grandmother, it was my foremothers. I was not feeling the patriarchy at all. But, with time comes healing, and so I started to have better relationships with my uncles, and I started to have better relationship with the men in my family. I started healing with, men in healthy ways, and I started having healthier relationships with cis men. And so I wanted to acknowledge it in my spirituality. And so then that's around the time I named myself Kaneem. So, just being able to get to that space, because I couldn't have gotten here without being post-op. I think instinctively for many of us, when we're pre-op, we always know we will be accepted in the patriarch. We always know we'll have a place in the brotherhood just because we still got our dick. Just because we still got our dick, we know, at the end of the day, a lot of men gonna feel like, you still one of us. Not all of them. Not all of them think like this, but many of them will. So when you get rid of that dick, a lot of times you forsake, T.S. Madison said, I will lose my connection to him. I could get him on the line. And that's a true motherfucking story. Because this is a man's world. And you still got that dick, you could still speak his language. You could still get him on the line. Like, we think she talking about Father God in heaven. She talking about Father God who sits high on this land, in this world. She could still speak his level because she still got the dick. She can still relate and make them connections with him. Like, for me, that just read in so many different ways. And so it's a sacrifice when you get rid of that, because it's so, a lot of times men can relate to you easier when you have similar stories about, even if one of y'all doing it to vagina and another person is doing it to booty, you still got stroke stories. You still got topping stories. You can still kind of make a parallel connection there. But when you start to just be a girl who's just on the receiving end, and most men want to identify or want to be seen as topping something, That's definitely a way to keep your bond and to keep your connection with biological and cis men is to be pre-op. So post-op has to be a decision that you make for yourself. But I think that a lot of trans women are traumatized by post-op trans women because, you know, it's like they feel like it's invalidating their process, and it's not. We don't have the exact same set of experiences. We're all meant to have different experiences. So when these men start to shame her, and it's not the men who typically shaming her, it's probably a trans sister, because men are not going to shame you for being pre-op. But back in the day, it was a lot of pressure from society mainstream for a girl to get her sex change, because that was the girl that was acceptable. Because most time when you're a sex change child, you so busy trying to blend in, girl, you don't want to be in front of cameras. You don't want to be center stage, girl. You trying to blend in. You trying to get your privilege as not a trans woman, but as the biological tuna. So, girl, you play in the background, girl. And so that's how these men be wanting us all to be. If you one of those girls that got your sex change, girl, you trying to blend in, girl, you trying to play the background. So, girl, I ain't got to worry about you trying to take up space like men take up space. So a lot of men was happy that the girls were getting the sex changes, because that meant she finna sit down in a corner somewhere and try to be biological. She finna try to blend in with the biological girls. So we ain't got to worry about hearing her mouth. Girl, get this pussy and go sit down in the corner and do what we tell you to do. How we tell you to do it. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure you're all right now. But just do what we say and do it how we said do it. That's what the sex change, that was her role. But if you're a pre-op girl, honey, you still got your piece, girl. So, you still, a lot of girls still feel like, girl, I still got this piece, girl. I'm still connected to my manhood, girl, obviously and clearly, girl. So, girl, I'm going to take up space like a man, titties and all. There are a lot of girls who have that type of mentality. I'm still packing. I'm still fully functional. I'm going to take up space just like these men. And you can be a cisgender woman and channel that type of energy. It's girls who cisgender that take up that kind of energy. But I find that energy flows more naturally and freely many times through beings who are still fully functional and pre-op. Oh, those girls don't mind taking up space, especially if that girl ain't taking no moans. That girl ain't never took a moan in her life. She just complete seal. She just complete seal. She didn't have facial film sealed, never touched a motherfucking hormone, and that dick fully functional. That whole feminine aesthetic is an illusion, because it's just, even though you're still having experiences that females can relate to based on how you're presenting, internally, you still in the same place a lot of times. I'm not gonna make this a generalization for all girls, but many times that's the truth. So for me, the sex change really just helped me to pull it together. It just really helped me to just see the world clearly. I don't think that every girl have to get a sex change in order for her to be able to understand this experience, but I definitely think I needed to do it. I just always would have felt like it was 1 foot in, 1 foot out for me. I always would have felt like I did not completely commit for me. And it was because there was not enough examples of down the road after the sex change. Most of the girls who I talked to who had the sex change, a lot of them, is particularly in Louisiana, they let their hoes close up on them and they wasn't even having sex. Like those girls is somewhere, sewing dresses and gowns and creating stuff and they don't put that energy somewhere else. They don't even worry about, you know what I'm saying, having sex. Sex is just like, oh, whatever, child, this is nothing. I don't want to do that. Like a lot of girls who get the orchiectomy and who get sex changes, they be like, ugh. But girl, I'm not there yet. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I likes to get mines, you know. And I'm not saying I need to get it till I die. I'm just saying I enjoy getting mine, honey. And I'm so thankful that I can enjoy getting mine. Amen, a woman. Well, let me see what's going on in this phone because I done got a couple of text messages. Me and this lady, my heart. So how are you? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go ahead and answer these messages. So let me light a candle. But if y'all have any questions, leave the questions down in the comment section, and I'm gonna answer any, like I answer reasonable questions about the sex change, or anything that you might have felt like, I started talking about and I didn't really like finish. So I'll answer some questions in the comment section below the video. So if you have a couple of questions, leave them in the comment section below the video. I don't know. It's one girl who be leaving some really good comments for me, and I feel like they be spamming her shit sometimes. I don't know, but she always leave the best comments up under my videos, and like I could see them on the side, but girl, it look like they be spamming them girls sometimes. I don't know what that tea about. But anyway, down but another I say cool, keep spinning and turning Ian Gani Yanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you are. I light this candle to acknowledge the ancestors who transitioned this realm today and every other day since we've been away from our altars. This candle represents past, present, and future. Our ancestors who've come, our ancestors who are here, and our ancestors who will come. As I blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with intensity on the spiritual plane to protect us when such a time comes and to guide our ancestors to the next part of the journey. Amen. A woman, Leilem Layler. Love y'all. Good night. Rest well. Talk to you soon.